All right, everybody, welcome on back here for our afternoon meeting this Thursday, March 4th. I was just muted for the first 10 seconds there for all of us in YouTube and Facebook Live. Welcome on aboard. And for all of us live inside the trading room, we should be good to go now. I should have done the sound check for them first, huh? Right? So, going into this afternoon, it's been pretty red in the market, hopefully green in your pocket. I was too busy thinking about that line before I realized I was muted. So for right now, the CDEP trade heading into the afternoon, actually, that was a decent exit I just took here, not to pat myself on the back, but I jumped in right off 533, previous resistance, pretty much where it's at right now. Ended up taking it up right towards 542. High of the day is 544. There was a huge iceberg order on the ask right now. You could see it live on level 3 at $5.45. 45 plus thousand share order on the ask. There's actually one like pretty much right there at the high of the day too. Also at 550. So that was pretty much the main reason as to why I just got out. Good timing, I guess. At the same time as that, I also wrote in the chat board. I was on another trade, which we'll jump to pretty shortly. But I said I don't want to be a stooge and just waste profits when I do the afternoon meeting and just stay in that trade, right? So I thought the same thing with this, and I guess good timing there. Karma pays off. So yeah, for right now, heading into the afternoon, the CDEV trade. We've been watching this, of course, from pre-market heading into the market open. I don't know what the news is on this trade. I don't really have class heading into this afternoon, so I don't really have to cruise. I don't really have to like go fast. Let's just take a look on Benzinga Pro. I won't be able to copy and paste at least, but let's say. Ended up making a big move up yesterday. I know that. So this is one of the oil companies. That's right. So we ended up trading this yesterday, and it was one of the oil companies just ahead of the OPEC meeting today. And with, I guess, that conference concluding, we ended up seeing, this along with a few other stocks squeeze up within the oil sector. So, we'll jump to those right now as well. I mean, CDEV, we'll just put on our watch list just to begin. Easy enough. Hopefully it remains as easy of a trade as it was for me off that 533 level. So we'll look to see if that can make a higher low, push back up to break out over all of those iceberg orders on the ask. At the same time as we had that, Oxy not doing as much right now, but you could see at least going into the mid to late morning, ended up making a squeeze up alongside a bunch of the other oil stocks. We had, what else did we have? WTI number like 13% gainer. This did pretty good as well. Another oil stock that did pretty nicely here this morning, popped from like 350 up towards just about 4 and pulled back. So, at least for right now, that CDEV, I don't know, I guess that's much stronger compared to some of the others heading into the afternoon, but yeah, we'll at least put that one on our main watch list. So as I was saying, the Dow, took a big dump off heading into the afternoon, at least pretty much shortly after that OPEC meeting finished up. We had that. We had Powell speaking at the same time, talks of inflation, 10-year Treasury yield spiking. So we ended up seeing a big drop within the markets today across the board. But heading into the afternoon, right off 2 o'clock, you could see a small little bounce. So just all together, provided the volatility, hopefully it remains a pretty profitable afternoon, just whether we're going long or short, depending upon the market, some of the stocks we'll be watching. I'm getting a quick ping right here, folks. And yeah, Kathleen brought it up just right as we started the meeting. And I just brushed right by it at the time. But I'm looking like right ahead on my platform here, and I'm like Benzinga Pro right below. I see Express, AMC, COS, all of these like Reddit stocks squeezing up. Is that the case right now? Whoa, look at that. Big pop on AMC from 780 up towards just about 860-ish almost. Might get halted soon. That's the type of squeeze you want to see. GameStop like freaking exploding. Oh my goodness. So, folks, just for all of us here in the chat board, what are some of the other stocks that have been some of the Reddit stocks of late? Dating back to end of February or early Feb, or pretty much. What else do we have? I'll let you guys do the work for me here. Michael says BlackBerry, BB, of course, BB, right? Hopefully my platform doesn't freeze up as I go from stock to stock here. BlackBerry not making as clean of a push though, Mike. I'm pretty surprised. I would have expected that to make a nice pop, at least pretty similar in terms of volatility. I know Express, as I said, Express making a nice little spike. Not really as sharp, though, even as AMC and GameStop. So those two seem to be like the biggest leaders. COS was another one. This one's making a sharp spike up, pretty similar. All right, so all of them I'm going to just pretty much write on the side for right now. GameStop, AMC, COS. I will write down BlackBerry, although that hasn't made its move just yet. We do like that one at least. Let's just check in on Benzinga Pro. What do we have? Anything? All right, looks like at least from GameStop, like unusual options activity, $200 call sweep near the bid. Probably the same to be said, in similar regards for AMC, I reckon. I don't know if there's like a triple reaching Friday ahead. I mean, usually that's at the end of the month anyway. So here we are, beginning of the month. So I pretty much answered that question right there. Yeah, I don't know. That's just weird activity in the options market for GameStop. So just be careful for the dump off after. Hopefully it's going to continue later on today. It's not going to be right now, I wouldn't believe, but perhaps in the next 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe later. But hopefully we see continuation on these later on. All right, cool. Well, that answers my question, right? It goes to show that in a down market, you can make money on the way up between CDEV and then all of these Reddit stocks have been pushing up. I also saw just from a few of us here, Palantir, PLTR. So I was going to get to that. This thing was like all over the place today. It was on the gainers list to begin. It was up big in pre-market, spiked up like right after like 8:30 in the morning, but then dumped off right away after that. This was my best trade of the day. I did pretty good across the morning, and it was all because of this PLTR. Not to say I took losses on other trades frequently, but just after I cleaned up on this, and I was like, all right, I'm done. So I missed out on the squeeze up here after, but nonetheless, this was like a crazy runner up and down across the day. Ended up dropping off from 25. I got in right off of like 24.30-ish, 24.39, I think. Roughly in between there was my entry. Don't have my trade manager up, but I let it ride down towards below 24. I think I got out right around like 23.70-ish. Again, dropped off much further after I got out. It was a great short from the morning. As the markets dropped off, it ended up making a new move on the way down too. So you could essentially see as well, it's like almost like a sloppy head and shoulders, but right off 25, you can see the neckline right there. 25 is a big level going into the market open. A lot of volume getting filled right off the ask in pre-market. So you would assume that if the markets weren't going to drop off as much as they did at the open, that this could have made for a nice pop. But for as much as it's been throughout the morning, it was pretty exhausted off the breakout. Still popped up like 50 cents. But when the market stumped off, this ended up just going right down with it. So this one's a great solid stock, this Palantir. We've been following this, and I say this for anyone new inside our trading room or any of us on social media watching just right now. We've been watching Palantir since its IPO, since day one. Trading 124 million shares as a $10 stock off of day one. So that's the type of stock that you definitely want to remember going forward for the reasons of breaking all-time highs, for the reasons of breaking all-time lows, if possible. But nonetheless, it's been popping since that time, and been a great trade. So I don't mind kind of keeping this on our side list, maybe just coming back to this at the very end. I just want to go through the percent gainers and losers list, preferably more losers list, but we'll see if there's anything that's moving with the market otherwise heading into the close. And, if we have a short list, if we're just going to keep with what we have so far, then I might just add Palantir at the end. So we'll start at the top here, this FPRX buyout. I think Leda pointed that out earlier this morning. I forgot who bought it out, but it's not worth checking right now. It's not worth my time. Super League Gaming ended up making another pop in pre-market this morning. Ended up having a very active week, like pushing up day over day practically. I know yesterday it kind of took off after the market opened up, but ran in pre-market that day, ran in pre-market this morning. Ended up making a squeeze shortly after the open. Actually took a little bit while to get it going, but broke out right from $7 over its opening bell print, essentially from there too, and took off beautifully. I was in this trade from 661. I ended up getting out before the pop. I ended up missing this huge spike up. I ended up just taking the money and running. Again, just for a slow afternoon. I thought that for what it's worth to get out under 7, I thought that was going to be a responsible exit. The second after I got out, or a couple of minutes rather, I turned back, obviously. You could see, and just took off. Wasn't worth trying to chase, but ended up making a fantastic pop up towards the high, just over 850. Similar, very volatile stock, much like Palantir, but you can't short this stock. They're not related, just in terms of volatility, just up and down, provides good opportunity, if you're trading off the right levels. In this case, though, you can't short it. So it's just not as worth it right now. For as much as it's moved up, I would imagine the move more so is going to be on the way down for this trade. Imagine the same to be said also for AESE, another esports stock. You can just see it's at the low of the day right now. My platform's kind of freezing up here a bit, but yeah, same thing. For as much as this stock has pushed up the last 2 days, it's actually had back-to-back red days just on the daily chart, but pre-market pops. It's just pretty exhausted right now, trading 80 million shares. All right, what else we have here? Again, I always say this, just with an upward down market. This time a down market, Dow down over 450 points. I wouldn't expect for there to be a whole lot on the gainers list, maybe outside like the inverse ETFs. SOX pushed up pretty nicely. Pretty funny sounding ETF name, but bearish semiconductor ETF. So where you happen to see AMD, Micron, Intel, all those semiconductor tech related stocks drop, this ETF is going to move up. So I wouldn't mind putting this on our main list just with that in mind. I mean, if you do well with ETFs, if you traded this one with good success, then I would definitely keep it in mind. Probably say the same for Fausto's LABD. I know he's been watching that. I think that's like a bearish biotech ETF. Yeah, right here. There we go, number 18. Not as near the highs right now, but as you could see, it's been moving up and up and up and up over the last few days. Pushed up pretty nicely heading into the late morning, early afternoon as the markets were falling. But for right now, I mean, I think that SOX one, the semiconductor one, looking a bit better. I'm not going to try to add every ETF under the sun here now at this point. There's your dump off on GameStop. I was expecting that to a good degree, at least immediately off that big pop. We'll look to see if we can build a higher low and push back up here later on. Another ETF, FANG, pretty expensive, but all right. SM, another energy stock. This one pushed up nicely today, but couldn't withstand the falling market, so ended up dropping off a bit. But we were talking about this stock yesterday. We saw this breakout early on, and I said just at the time, and you could see on the daily chart too, some of the bigger green candles here and here. It's made some great trends after the market opens up, and looks like it did that once again today, but dropped off here. So keep it pushing. I don't think there's much else on the gainers end here that I'm pretty familiar with. SQQQ, of course, inverse ETF. So if I put SOX on the list, I'd probably just put the same with like SQQQ. I might just round them up all together and just say inverse ETFs. Just keep a good eye on like VIX, VXX, UVXY. All right. Genius from earlier today. I know it's flat right now. I just want to show it. Pop from earlier on this morning. So this was one of the stocks we did pretty well on. I didn't take this myself. Wish I did. It was pretty cheap. Nice level 1 stock. You could trade several thousand shares of it. Ended up making a nice higher low. It made pretty much the same pop and run up as like GameStop is doing right now. It like squeezed up really nicely. It pulled back pretty sharply after, and it made the move up that we're hoping for GameStop and AMC to make into the afternoon. But you could see it built a higher low, pushed up pretty nicely. So again, they're not related. I'm just pointing out the pattern on the chart. Genius, we traded the stock going back into end of January alongside the other Reddit stocks too. So I guess it's bouncing up a little bit here, but I think it's just too slow right now compared to the others. All right, we'll hop over to the losers list, see if there's anything looking just as good, if not better. This WPG just got killed today. I don't know what happened. Got halted like 4 or 5 times over. And I really mean it. I don't know. I didn't even bother to check the news. I'll just actually, for the first time right now, check. For a stock down over 57+%, you'd imagine it would be something like bankruptcy, right? That's exactly what it is. So, I mean, I looked at it, so I wasn't just guessing that out of my butt. But nonetheless, trading lower, following reports indicating the company's preparing a potential bankruptcy filing. So that came out right off 11:41 Eastern time, and it got killed. I was looking for a bounce off 3. I was really looking for a nice bounce for as much down as it was at the time to see a short little squeeze up. But man, this thing just slipped right under 3. Not even a single room for like a pop back above that price, and just continued dropping off. So didn't take it, but I wanted that trade. Hopefully later on today provides that opportunity. I don't mind just putting this on our list though, just to try and find out. Folks, you got the CDEV trade. It's already on our list. It's back above the price that I'd entered from, right from 530-ish. So keep a good eye on that. We'll go back to that one, just before we finish up, but just keep a good eye on that one too. Bunch of stuff hard to borrow otherwise. I saw the PRPL trade get killed too this morning. Not as much, I guess, as the WPG, but yeah, this one's still at the lows of the day right now. I don't know what the news is. Again, I'm just not going to bother to look right now at this point. Obviously pretty bad, but nonetheless, at the lows right now, it seems like it could be a decent short. Just thin tier sizes on level 2 and volume on level 3 there. So see if there's anything looking just even better in terms of the liquidity there. DXYN. Skip over that, I guess. Not much going on. QTT, cheap. It is shortable. Not that far from, or I guess it's I want to say it's like, pretty cheap. At the same time, though, it's not too close to ground zero there, being $0. If there's a stock that's like somehow under a given circumstance shortable and it's like $1 stock, I'm not going to try and short that. That's way too close. This might give us a little opportunity for, as much as like a 20, 30, 50 cent push, depending on the volatility. This QTT trade, I actually don't like. I don't mind for the afternoon here. Got big support right off 270, 268. It would need to break through in order for it to continue moving down. Otherwise, it's down a lot percentage-wise. Maybe if it doesn't break lower, it can make a dead cat bounce and move up. SDGR, not much going on there. Vuzi, I know Jerry loves this stock. I always say that every time I bring it up, but it's actually become quite the great trade, in terms of volatility, going up, going down. Today it got smacked around, but yeah, right now it's just kind of in a sideways trend. I guess you can call this an inverse head and shoulders, this Vuzi stock. I know one of us in the trading room is just asking about that. This looks like a pretty good inverse head and shoulders kind of building. You can say the same with the market entirely right now. Vuzi kind of making that same move. All right, so folks, I think that just about does it from my end here, though. I mean, the QTT wasn't too bad. Vuzi, I mean, in terms of the volatility, maybe you could slip that on, but I want to see if there's anything looking better. If there's anything else, folks, type it in the chat board. Let me know. From D, one of our new members joining us here live. Welcome aboard, D, and alongside D, all of our new trial members from Fausto's event today. I should have started off with that. I know that typically most of our new trial members start tomorrow or going into the full next week, going into Monday. So we'll provide more of a full walkthrough for you going into tomorrow or next week. Just thoughts on Tilray, though. They're asking, making the same move as like the market right now. You can pretty much see Tilray is a pot stock, so keep a good eye on MJ pot stock ETF. Right, making the same exact move. Tradable stock, don't get me wrong. If you do well on it consistently as a day trade, if you day trade Tilray with good success day to day or week to week, then I would put it on your personal watch list. It's that type of stock, much like Palantir, where I could slip that on our list. I think Palantir is just a bit more volatile this morning, but nonetheless, just either way, both provide good opportunity. You could say the same with like Neo, the EV stocks, all of them, right? XPEV, Blink. So, that's where I say, like, if there's a stock that moves with the market and you do really well on it as a day trade, you day trade it with good success, then I would just focus on that stock. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right? June talking about Mara, and I was talking about Riot from before, so I wanted to jump to that. I do have my Bitcoin chart up, so I'll go over that pretty quickly, but Mara making a continued move up. June, that thing is squeezing up beautifully. So, we were talking about this a couple days ago here. Give me a quick sec. There we go. It's been a long day, long week. A lot of talking. I apologize there. Riot, I want to jump to actually in the meantime. Charts are freezing up. But, we were talking about this yesterday. I put Riot on our watch list heading into the afternoon. It looks like June's Mara making a sharper move up right now. But, heading into the afternoon yesterday, I put Riot on our watch list with hopes of a dead cat bounce. And in the afternoon, I was pretty much saying, like, I typically see that happen a lot more, sharper when Riot's like down percentage-wise, when it's down with the market, down with Bitcoin percentage-wise from like the prior day's close. It was actually, I think it was like up 1% or 2% still at this point yesterday afternoon. So it didn't really make like that big of a squeeze up. It still bounced at like 2 o'clock, right? You could see right around like 2 o'clock, 2:30, Riot did make a small bounce. So heading into the afternoon, even from the morning, I called my shot. I was saying if Riot was down heading into the afternoon, then I'm very likely going to put it on our watch list with hopes of a squeeze up with the market. You know, Riot was down like what, like 15, 16% going into 2 o'clock. I was playing around with it at first on 100 shares. I took a 50-cent loss. I was in from 42. I got out at 41.54, something like that, 41.50. And then when it squeezed back up, it popped back over to right over here. I ended up jumping in right off the breakout. It was perfect timing. So I was watching this diligently, waiting for this. It was either 42 or 41. I know you could just sit there and say, well, 41.50. Yes, but in terms of, you know, going with the momentum, you want to buy directly after it breaks through the level going up. So I was waiting for 41, but it never broke down there. It popped back up, and I took the entry. I was in from 42. I ended up getting out right around like 42.70-ish, I think. 42.67. Then from there, it just kept going. This thing's just been squeezing up perfectly since, making the type of move I wanted it to make yesterday. So with that, let me just pull up Bitcoin if I can. I don't know if I... Uh-oh. We should be good to go in the trading room, folks. If you can't see the Bitcoin chart that I'm posting up right now, just type it in the chat board. Let me know, and I'll do a copy and paste after. But nonetheless, you could see from like 2 o'clock practically with the market, Bitcoin squeezing back up from like 47.6. So this is pretty much what I say all the time with like Riot and Mara in the afternoon, all of the blockchain-related stocks. When they're down going into the afternoon, I'll rehash. These stocks typically don't make continued moves going into the afternoon from the trends that they had built from the morning. So if Riot's up 15, 20% going into the afternoon, we've seen it from when it was like $3. It never made that afternoon push up higher, right? It teased the crap out of us. Well, it wasn't shortable then. It was shortable now. So, and it's been shortable for a little bit, but you know, that's where I say now with Riot down 15%, 10%, 20%, who knows more, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, the more it's down going into the afternoon, I'm not going to expect it to make a continued move down going into the afternoon. Just odds show that it doesn't. So if it's not going to break lower, you got to wait for the squeeze back up. So it's only a matter of when, not a matter of if. So we ended up seeing that happen just as Bitcoin made that pop up. The market obviously pushed up too. So just collective move up, but we always see this from Riot and Mara, you know, specifically. Let's just jump to a hour chart really quick. Just want to show where it's at in comparison to, you know, kind of where we showed it last. So we were watching this just drop. It made the squeeze back up going into the weekend. And then pretty much since it was pushing on up pretty nicely and then dropping off at the market today. You know, long term, it wouldn't shock me if it drops back down towards like 46, consolidates around like towards these lows here. And then, you know, maybe pushes back up over time. Not maybe. Definitely pushes back up over time, but perhaps we'll see some slippage here first down towards like 46 or so. You know, there could be any event or catalyst that could drive it down a lot lower, of course, you know, anything with the market, regulation, perhaps. I don't know. I'm just spitballing, but otherwise, though, I'm very bullish. You know, you've known my outlook on this if you've been following this meeting here, but nonetheless, that's the chart for Bitcoin. All right, folks, I think that just about does it for the 5 or 10 minutes I was babbling about Bitcoin and Riot and Mara. If there's anything else now, I should say, let me know. Can you review SLGG? So I did that from earlier. I don't know if I missed that from before from Eric. You know, at least for the afternoon, I'm not expecting a whole lot to happen on this trade. But long term, though, we love this as a day trade. Going forward, just the more it goes up in price, it's only going to become more volatile. And with esports, just that whole market blowing up over God knows how long, this has been like long overdue, in my opinion. SKT trying to recover from Leda. Let's see. For as much as it dropped, right? Same thing with Riot, right? It might make a squeeze back up. Has great liquidity on the order book, thin tier sizes, but, you know, really good spread for right now. I'm sure that's going to open up should this make like a you know, low volume run perhaps up towards 19. Yeah, don't mind putting this on our list though for the meantime. Just given the move up and down today, it's definitely traded a lot of volume today compared to what it does on an average basis. So I wouldn't expect for it to make the type of move up like it made here or type of move down like it made here. But, you know, to see a stock go from 19 to 26, then back down to 1650 practically, how can you not, you know, put this on our watch list now? So that's a good call. I like that. OVV from Norman. not trading a whole lot of volume per minute. It's like 3,000 to 4,000 shares per minute. So you're squeezing up really nicely. Don't get me wrong, but it's like similar in terms of the SKT, in terms of the order book, the tier sizes, and SKT less expensive. It's trading more volume across the whole day, so I just have more comfort trading this compared to the OVV. That's all. All right, folks, that just about does it for me. I'm going to take a quick break, jump back on the mic right around 3:15, 3:30 Eastern time, taking you into the afternoon. Lastly, right at the buzzer here from our friend Trading PC on YouTube, asking about CYH. And in the meantime, I will say, please make sure to like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/ that is a nice pop. cybertradingu, that is a great call. Appreciate that, Trading PC. So again, just to reiterate, make sure that you like, subscribe, notify right on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/cybertradingu. And then outside of that, feel free to join us live inside our trading room. Just go right to the banner down below and sign up for the trading room. All right, folks. Aside from that, I'll talk to you folks coming up pretty shortly, going into the next like 15, 20, 30 minutes or so. Take care.